We're doing meal prep. I have my vegetables, my fruits. I have my pasta, cashews, all my dry stuff, my yogurt, and the meats. I'm just gonna wash, cut, and cook everything. I really don't know what's gonna happen in this vlog. This is vlog number one. There's no script to this, so honestly, don't trust a single thing I say from here on out about what's gonna happen in this video, because as of right now, I don't even know. But you guys are just gonna see what I do on the daily, on the weekly, I guess. Seeing as I'm working with food in this video, I'm thinking this might be the vlog to talk about well, YouTube. This is only vlog number one, but I have heard that YouTube does not like it when I say the actual word. So just for the sake of this newborn channel, I will be referring to it as hinge eating. Sorry, I don't know in what ways I can say it that I won't get in trouble for. But yeah, so my entire life I had overconsumption behaviors, not necessarily the hinge I'm talking about, but I was absolutely an indoor kid, and my typical daily routine, whether it was during school or the summer, was wake up, get on my iPad, 3DS, Xbox, literally whatever I wanted to be on that day. And that was what I did for 24 hours. But of course, every hour or so, you have to go downstairs and get a snack. So while I'm just inside playing Minecraft Pocket Edition or Xbox 360, whichever one I wanted to do, which, I mean, that was like 90% of what I did was just Minecraft, or it was my classic Pokemon games on the DS. I don't remember there really being anything outside of those two. I love Pokemon and Minecraft strictly, and that was it. So that's what I did all day. I was not an outdoorsy person. I was not an active kid either. I did not play sports. I wanted to be an athlete because I thought that would make me cool, but not because I was athletic or gifted in that realm to any degree. Yeah, I was inside all day. I would just eat all day and play games and watch YouTube and draw comics. And at the age that I was, it was pure bliss. I mean, it was just pure dopamine and bliss for the first 10 years of my life doing that. And gosh, I can't tell you exactly how it all clicked in my brain, but it felt like the second I turned 11 years old, something switched and I realized that I was a chud. I was suddenly aware that, oh, like I'm husky, I'm heavy. I wasn't fat. I don't know how. I say I was inside all the time. I was active during recess and I did go outside, but I never purposefully exercised. I just happened to be active enough that I counterbalanced enough of what I was eating so that I didn't balloon. Nobody in my life was ever concerned that I was particularly fat. However, no, I turned 11 and I realized that, I may not have been noticeably super heavy, at least like wearing a hoodie or in a regular shirt, but to me, I knew that I was a chunky little boy. So I was very determined to change that. I saw that, I was like, that's not gonna slide. Everything just clicks when you're 11, I feel like, or somewhere around that age, you just become aware of a lot of new things. And I also just did not like being fat. So all of a sudden, my body was just uncomfortable to be in. And I was like, I just don't want this for me. This does not feel good at all. You get the point. But I started doing home workouts. Now, my dad did have to force me to start running. And I eventually started doing it on my own. That was the first time that I really started to have any kind of discipline in my life was when my dad started helping train me to run a mile. And eventually I started just going on runs around that, the path we would go on. I would start going by myself. It was the first time I'd actually accomplished anything in my life, I think, because up until that point, I wasn't involved in anything. So just building up to the mile, and I remember the first day that I actually ran the whole thing without having to take a break, and I ran it in maybe like 13 minutes. But I was so proud of myself, and I just thought like it was the first time that I thought like I can change my circumstances, and that was amazing to feel. So yeah, I kept working out. I did workouts inside. I just like push-ups, jumping jacks, sit-ups, anything I could think of, because I only had, I mean, I remember when I only had 5-pound weights, and doing curls with those were heavy. But I did whatever I could in my house. But the problem that I ran into, and it took me a long time before I really got this under control, was I was working out, but my diet had not changed at all. I think I could tell you exactly what I ate almost on the daily. For breakfast, it was either frozen microwave pancakes or waffles, doused in syrup, or it was, what are they called? Cocoa Puffs? Yeah, chocolate cereal, typically Cocoa Puffs. And you know how you finish the cereal and you have a bit of milk left? Well, I always had milk left, so I thought, well, you can't have the milk without more cereal. So I would pour another bowl of cereal. And then, well, there's not enough milk for the amount that I poured in. I guess I have to pour more milk. See, I peak big bag behaviors at the ripe age of 0 to 11. And they didn't even fully stop until closer to freshman year of high school. So this is the deep rabbit hole that I was living in. I haven't even gotten on past breakfast, okay? For lunch, Nutella sandwich, 2 slices of white bread. You would put the Nutella on the bread. You would fold the bread for each slice, and then there's like a rim of crust on the back, and then there's just the middle of the sandwich side on the folded end. I would eat the folded end with just the bread, and then there would be like the rind of like crust, and then I would eat the crust last. I had like a ritual for how I would eat this stupid sandwich. That was my school lunch every day, if not just what I made during summer. And then with the Nutella sandwich, we either had a chocolate pudding or a Jell-O pack, because I needed more sugar apparently. The only healthy thing I had with that lunch was my milk carton, and then I would have pretzels or goldfish, maybe apples, like apple slices or carrot slices. There's probably more I'm forgetting, but it was atrocious. But I ate that every day for my school lunch. And then dinner was either DiGiorno's personal size microwave pizza, or it was Chef Boyardee ravioli or spaghetti. I'm really just thinking about how I ate this, dude. But we're not even covering the fact that when I would get home from school before dinner, I would
Raid the pantry.
every day, every afternoon when I got home. The first thing I did was go to the pantry, and I ate Fritos. I loved Fritos as a kid. I don't know why. I don't even eat chips now, but I could tell you that Fritos are, if you're gonna eat chips, I don't know why you're picking Fritos, so I don't know why I did. It was the family size bag of Fritos. Open it, hand in.
I'm going at it.
And I did that with the cereal boxes too. You know, I've already had Cocoa Puffs that morning. I'm digging my hand in there. Or Pops. I don't think people know this one. I feel like this one's a bit more niche. Pops cornflake cereal. I would just eat those like they were chips too. Yeah, so I would just eat out of the family size portion bags. I'm not even focused on drying my clean vegetables. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I would just sit in there for probably an hour or so, just munching away at anything. If we had chocolate, if we had Hershey's, we still have this bucket. Let me go get this bucket. Okay, there's like nothing in it now. There's Baker's 100% cacao chocolate in here, so it's empty. But we had this candy bucket every Halloween. It just kept getting stocked up. I would get on a stool and I would climb the shelves in the pantry to reach this
Stupid ass.
bucket. And there was always chocolate in it, and I would just
Eat it.
So that was before dinner. That was just my after school snack. But and then after dinner, after I have my canned spaghetti or my microwave pizza, I would have to have dessert because I just had to, apparently. And that was either these ice cream sandwich bars, ice cream cone. We had cones, and we had vanilla ice cream. And yeah, I would make a cone or two. And then there were Outshine popsicles. Like lemon lime was my favorite. So I think I was eating enough carbs for a marathon runner, and I could barely run a mile. I wasn't even able to run a mile until after 10 years of doing this every single day. You know, people had told me, like I've said before, people acted like that diet was normal. My parents tried to fix it, but I was a really stubborn kid. Oh my God. I'm not a chef. My parents tried to correct it, but I was a very stubborn kid. So if I didn't want to do something, it was really hard to get me to do it. How the tables have turned. My diet was so atrocious that I started getting hemiplegic migraines. I thought I was having a stroke. The doctors did too. So the first time I had it, I was 9. My left arm starts going numb. It starts in my fingers. And at the same time, I start getting a headache. So it starts in my fingers, just straight numbness. And it just creeps all the way up my arm, up to my face and my lips. And my vision is going black on this side. I'm starting to slur my words. I'm starting to repeat words. I'm losing my ability to speak entirely. And we had no idea what's going on. I was at it was like a summer day camp. It wasn't like a sleepaway thing, but one of my counselors, she was sitting with me trying to figure out like, can you describe to me what's going on? I'm just saying my head, like, I can't say anything more than 2 to 3 words. I know what I want to say, but I can't say the words. I can't find them anymore. So my brain's just not working, and I'm terrified. So I'm sitting with her for maybe an hour, just writing out this migraine. I'm just going through the whole thing. And we call my dad, and once he's able to pick me up, I think the migraine had started to come down, and I could start speaking again. So my dad gets there, and he's like, "Oh, like I'm crying throughout this entire thing. I think something was severely wrong, but I had never not been able to use my motor skills or speak or anything. So I was terrified. So I'm crying. He picks me up. I'm 9 years old, so he thinks that maybe I was just severely homesick or that I was just being dramatic about something. Because by the time he came to pick me up, I was fine again. So thankfully it didn't last that long, but we didn't do anything about it that time because we were just like, okay, that was weird, but you're fine now. The next time it happens, I'm at home and my parents see it happen. I'm like, hey, like, can't speak, arms numb, all this stuff. Take me to the ER. They bring me in. I can't speak. I say, hey, I can't see on one side. My arm is numb. My head hurts. My vision's blurred. I can't speak. I don't even know how I communicated any of those symptoms to them. I don't remember. It was that long ago. I walk out of the ER. You just have an infection, we think. I'm sure I'm remembering that wrong because of just how atrociously bad that assessment was. But I particularly remember that we still did not know what was wrong with me or have any clear guidance on how to figure out what was wrong with me after that ER visit. They just hooked me up to an IV and I threw up a ton and I just thugged it out through that migraine the second time. Eventually, we do go see a neurologist and they're like, okay, you have hemiplegic migraines. We're going to put you on some supplements like magnesium, all this stuff, see if that works. And they did, but they did say, hey, we think we have very good reason to suspect your migraines are diet-induced. And spoiler alert, they were. because I have not had one in 3 years now. But at the time they said, well, yeah, the way you've been eating, as you're telling us, what you eat is pretty awful, and we're gonna put you on this diet. But being the little kid that I was like,
no, I'm not going to stop eating my ice cream.
I'm gonna eat all of the junk that I want. I don't care. Even though I'm having debilitating migraines like every month or so, the risk and reward. I mean, I was just stupid. I was just an idiot. But no, I wanted to keep getting pleasure and dopamine from food as opposed to, living my life without pseudo strokes. That's what I wanted. I get into middle school. I'm still pretty much eating the same way. Obviously, I'm not buying the groceries. I'm not going to the grocery store with my parents, so they're still bringing in what they've always brought in for me because I never really asked for anything different. So I still have the same foods, but I started making eggs for myself in the morning. And I mean, like, you heard what I ate on a daily basis. I had practically zero protein. So incorporating eggs, and I just started drinking some more milk because I did some internet research. I'm like, I've been working out for maybe a year or so now, and I'm still fat.
Yeah, I wonder why.
You're eating at least 1,000 calories more than you need every day. It doesn't matter how much you run or exercise. You are not going to burn enough to burn that off. So, but I didn't even realize that until freshman year. Yeah, my great awakening did not happen until freshman year that calories mattered. And I'm so mad at myself for not just looking that up. Freshman year, I'm like, okay. Like, actually, why am I not, like, I got a little bit slimmer because, when you start working out, obviously you're going to have some changes. That's normal. But I was thinking, I want abs. I want abs. I want to be ripped. Why am I not ripped at, the ripe age of 14? But to be fair, I could have been a lot further along than I was. So I will give myself a lot of credit there. So I download a calorie app. I look up, I'm like, okay, so calories are that's what's doing it to me. I need to figure those out. And I track my food for a day. And it's not even that bad. It's somewhere 2,300. But I'm not a tall individual. And I'm not a very heavy individual. Well, obviously I was trying not to be a heavy individual. So for my activity level then, and for just my entire frame, that was a bit too much. And that was a regular day. There were birthdays and holidays where I was eating way more than that. So over time, it all compounded all throughout my life. As you can see, we've cubed the sweet potatoes normally. I've already sprayed the olive oil on here, but I think since you can tell it's my first vlog, this is not the first take of this shot, so I'm not gonna spray more just for you guys. But yeah, so after I figured out that calories were really the issue for me, I started tracking, and I didn't have a food scale at the time, and I made a lot of beginner mistakes. So I was just using physical measuring cups and guessing. So there was a lot of error in my estimation, but for the most part it worked, and I got a good idea of essentially what I was eating, how much and how much I needed. So that was working for a while, and then I did get a food scale come sophomore year. So at the beginning of sophomore year, I weighed around 150, and on a 5'5" frame, that's a little fat. So that was not gonna fly, and it wasn't muscle either. I can tell you that. I could not see my abs, so I knew I was fat. And throughout sophomore year, I got down to 140, and then junior year, I kind of coasted around that weight. Senior year, I started to get back down again, and then last winter was my second really intentional cut, and that lasted last winter to the beginning of this year, where in February I hit 130, which is the leanest that I've ever been. So I had those two intentional cuts, one in sophomore year, one in senior year, and I was pretty proud of myself. I was doing well. I mean, it wasn't easy at all. Like it was hard, and there would be days where I did just start overeating, and I mean, yeah, I guess I would consider those slight hinge events I think they fit into that category, but they weren't often enough, and they were typically under the circumstances that I had been in a deficit for a long time, and I was just really trying to hold out, and there would be certain days, like very spread out from each other, where I let go of it. But it never didn't make sense why I was doing it. Now I had habitually, from the way that I had grown up, I habitually had always just eaten even when I wasn't hungry, just to eat. So it was always more of a fight to stay in a deficit, because I had to really unlearn just the habits. Like I would just wake up and eat something even if I wasn't hungry. Like it's the small stuff like that I had to unlearn. But it never quite it never compared to what I experienced in the past 4 to 5 months up until now. Yeah, I apologize. I'm gonna be moving the camera around probably a lot because I don't know exactly how I like it yet. So as I'm watching these clips in between taking them, I'm figuring out new stuff. Again, this is vlog number 1, don't shoot. So come February this year, I got to my leanest point. I'm coming towards the end of my cut. I still wanted to push a bit more, but it was getting harder, and that was fine. Again, it's just a side effect of the game, and I choose to play it, and I'm fine with doing that. But being in that deficit was already difficult, and then I got hit with, let's just say, a
Huge emotional disturbance.
I didn't really have a plan on how to cope with that when that happened, because it was a breakup.
Oh my God.
I lost my first relationship of close to a year and a half, and that really tore me apart. I felt like I wasn't acting like myself, and I already have, I feel like people are criticizing me silently, or like every little action I take, every word that I say is being judged and calculated in the minds of strangers, and I know that's not true, but after that happened, one could say the Great Divide. Let's just call it that. After the Great Divide happened, all of those anxieties, those fears that I had just on my own were just exacerbated, and I started to think,
Am I acting different now? Am I a different person? Like, who am I even anymore? Like,
we're on the up again. I promise that we're on the up again.
I am okay.
That is about to be 5 months ago. And I went on vacation for spring break with some of my friends. And let's just say, when you are given 24-hour access to multiple buffets, let's just say
I am personally responsible for every action that I take, everything I put into my body, every bad habit I have.
I'm a firm believer that is my responsibility to change and to work on. And regardless of how my upbringing or how my life experiences have molded me, nobody is going to fix those things for me. But I will say, those buffets enabled me. They enabled me like I have never been enabled before. Oh my God, I did this with and in front of one of my best friends, and he thought we were just eating for fun. I'm so sorry. You know who you are. I'm so sorry. To tell you that now, but him and I were joking. We're like, oh yeah, dinner 2, dinner 3, dinner 4, 5, 6. It kept going. It's embarrassing how many dinner rounds there were. I don't even remember. I took pictures of some of them, and I stopped counting after a certain point. And I was physically in pain the whole time. I had passed the point where I'm eating desserts and like good food that it makes me feel good. I had reached the point where my brain's thinking like, dude, you're done. This doesn't feel good. This hurts really bad. And I kept doing it. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. And I was on vacation, so I wasn't obligated. I just threw away half of a Brussels sprout. See, y'all are distracting me. This is your fault. But what was I even gonna say? Oh my goodness. I was on vacation, so all of the things that I do in my own time that I consider kind of like my work, I did not have access to, so I was forced to relax and sit still And one thing to learn about me, I am not good at sitting still. I hate it. I despise it. So I was forced to just sit with myself, and I couldn't do anything productive besides be on vacation and eat. So I ate, and I remember halfway through that trip, I had been on my same meal plan because I was still trying to stay lean and maintain it. And then halfway through, I wake up one morning earlier than everybody else. I'm just kind of walking around, you know. I'm thinking about the great divide. And that was the only thing in my brain, and I just really didn't know how to feel about it anymore at that point. It was the first relationship I ever had, and honestly, it was a really good one. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. It was just a life circumstance. It was the fact that long distance wouldn't have worked, and we were graduating, so I was just going through it. But unfortunately I happened to fall into the binge eating. I'm not supposed to say that. I said the word that YouTube doesn't want me to say. That morning I woke up, and when I really started thinking about it, the same day was when I started having episodes for the rest of the trip. Every day for the rest of that trip, I went to the free all-you-can-eat buffet, and I remember every day, I just wanted the day to be over. The second it started, I was just thinking, just get me home. Get me away from free access to my biggest vice yet, because I didn't even know that I could eat that much. After that trip, I get home and I thought, okay, I don't have free access to all this stuff. That was a one-time deal, don't know what that was crazy, but I'm gonna lock in and I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna do what I always did. I get home and it keeps happening. The day I get home, I have an episode, and then it was every 2 to 3 days, I would just have an episode. And I don't fully remember much from that. I just remember thinking, I'm scared that I'm gonna get really fat. And I am heavier now. I'm about 7 to 8 pounds heavier. I'm like 138-ish, and I was 130 only a couple months ago. So yeah, no, it did have an effect on me, and I can't say that I'm not still going through it now. I hinged yesterday. I went 10 days before the one yesterday, which is embarrassing because that's so far the longest that I've gone without having one since all of this started. I have gotten better on the day-to-day. The days that I'm good, like I'm really good. The days that it happens, I mean, that is what it is, but I can't say I haven't improved, but it is an ongoing learning experience for me. But that is caught up until now. That is the basic gist of what has been going on with me on that topic. That I can't explicitly say because I might get video.
I think I just would get demonetized, except I don't need to worry about that because I'm not monetized to begin with, but I'm not sure if they would take down videos or not.
So we're just gonna be careful. I think that's the best option. Okay, wow, this video went on for almost 2 hours. I'm surprised that you're even at this point. I guess you just enjoyed the video. I mean, I would really hope so. If you enjoyed it, that would be amazing because I spent a lot of time on late nights recording and editing. I'm not sure how consistently I'll be able to put out videos, especially since this one already took me a long time to work on and complete. But here's just a video of me messing around in the Costco parking lot with 2 of my good friends because I have nothing left to say in this video.
Give a shit. I just like look like a little bit of like it's not gonna keep it so you don't need a ride. Let's get in. Oh my god. No, I'm not recording. I'm not. They're crazy. They're coming for me. Help me.
Help me!
I don't know.
Huh?